this afternoon, which we're very much looking forward to. And first of all, Fatime Minoy-El, who is going to link her university studies with her teaching in high school. So welcome, and we look forward to any more introduction that you can give us. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Salam. Hello to everybody. After tea break, I hope that you all feel fresh. I can probably recap what I have experienced throughout my higher education in one unpleasant statement. Bleeding because of another person's wound. I was a sociology student in a university specialized on human science, a place where the dominant ideology governing the modern Western society was constantly being transferred to us in the name of sociology, like the gospel truth. At the heart of this important science, we could hardly find practical models relevant to our society which could help us to solve our problem and issues. As only receiver of such theoretical facts, we learn about the cures for pain which were not indeed a real pain. More recently, some say that the solution is transforming human science and nativizing them. But from where we can get a start? Who should transform them? I guess we should turn back one step before university, turn back to schools. As a social studies and history teacher, I think that any transformation to higher education should get started earlier and from lower stage of schooling. The problem is the mainstream education system in our schools that is totally imported. It comes from somewhere else, and even worse, it doesn't work in our context. The traditional paradigm of education has firmly been institutionalized in our society. Everyone tries hard to identify with this kind of identify with it. This kind of socialization overlooks individual differences, robs their shape, and gives something else, gives something less to them. It then expects that they keep flourishing in producing knowledge. That is wishful thinking, since the socialized person is not her real self and has become a copy of the standard model. Furthermore, as the model has been imported from another culture, it seems distant from our psychological, mental, and cultural worldview. The Achilles heel of the mainstream education system appears to be more outstanding and striking in human sciences. The bitter reality is that due to a number of false presuppositions, few brilliant students dare to select human science. Most think an intelligent student should become doctor, become engineer. Those few students who choose this field are not often productive because of memorization-oriented systems that have least creativity or innovation. Given that, how do we expect our students to become inquirer and innovator? So we should try to change both method and context. I have tried my best for transforming education system through enacting more dynamic classroom methodology and introduction new concepts to be searched and explored by the students, instead of asking the students to define the concepts, memorize the definitions, and take tests and exams. I attempt to apply a more practical approach through which the students can go beyond the surface of the concepts and experience using them in their everyday lives. These are the answer of the question that I have long confronted, a series of them. Why are my students so dispirited? Why don't they enjoy learning? Why doesn't our mainstream education function well in equipping learners with necessary life-related abilities? What can I do to kindle their interest in social science and so many others? The solution is a change. The book we teach talk about two types of recognitions: scientific recognitions and life-based experience recognitions. The names common sense, or something that we call aql salim. Common sense is defined as what individuals experience throughout their lives, either by themselves or others. However, these are scientific recognition that are mainly considered as our literacy and common sense receive less credit, unfortunately. The modern mechanical look toward literacy appears to be far away from its real meaning, which is wisdom, or something we call hikmah. Consequently, our educational concepts are not fully digested in our life and everyday experience. They are just in our mind and not in our actions. We must turn from science to wisdom. It's the solution. During my first year of teaching, I was deeply concerned about the possible ways to change methods and context. Here are a number of such learning events we experienced together. The first narration, I want to narrate two narrations. The first narration is about the methods. We change the methods. We can't change the context of book, but we can change the methods. For example, one of them is Tehran Photography Lab, or Tehran Lab Photography. The first unit of social studies, it's about the teaching a social studies book in first level of high school. The first unit of social studies book deals with concepts like social recognition, social interaction, norms, groups, and its issues, self-awareness, and something like that. The units feature class discussion. Class discussion is the way that we experience in religious schools, حوزه, that's named مباحثه. For example, in teaching norms, the norms concept, we start with this question: what do's and don't you like at your homes? Or if you were in your parents' shoes, would you make change for your kids? Or about self-consciousness, they talk about their own good or bad features, and others show their agreement or disagreement. The students refer to their own communities to answer the questions. We sit on the ground and discuss the issue together, and I can see a spark of interest in my students' eye. The second step was recording such concepts through photos for 6 to 8 weeks. The students keep taking photos related to the concepts of our discussions. And they take 10 photos. Quite often their photos are our understandings beyond surface that open new horizons before our eyes. This is also a good opportunity for them to practice taking photos. We invited the professional photography that is my sister's best friend to come our class and teach them how to take better photos and edit them. When the students bring their photos, we select the most meaningful picture every session, and then we hold an exhibition by the end of the term. Parents and other school students are invited to this exhibition. Photos can also be sold. The students talk about their photos and the meanings they attribute to them. It doesn't work. Another experiment is about bazaar visit. In one of the units of social study book is about the economic system in which the students should get familiar with concepts like production, distribution, stock, inflating, and something like that. My 15 years old students hardly know anything about such concepts, and they usually ask me why on earth they should learn about such concepts. They actually find them too hard or complicated to be learned. Instead of presenting such concept in a mechanical, didactic manner, we take the students to the historical old bazaar of Tehran. During the way I explain main concepts, there we start taking with customers and salespersons, and I want them to look carefully at the behaviors of the individuals, wholesalers, and retailers, and the ways goods are distributed. For finding relevant example, the students keep moving from one store to another. They then write down their observation and make a video clip out of it. Another economic concept is occupation or job. The students often have dreams about their future jobs. Since one of the challenges of our country is economic development and the quality of products, we try to help the students to think more about these concepts. For example, with simple exam, we talked about pocket money they received from their parents and how they can plan for making money and become economically independent in the future. In a simulated context of poor economy, the students are required to think innovatively about how they can establish money-raising job. They even read the life story of entrepreneurs, particularly inspiring ones. They often have various interesting practical ideas, like cooking homemade food and selling them to their classmates, or weaving colorful bracelets, or making a button that contains stories. It's interesting. The buttons that's when are in dress, these buttons demonstrated various stories. One of the students even suggested that she can receive orders from buying books from her neighborhood and then delivering them within a few days. Although some of these ideas might be forgotten by them, but I'm hopeful that a part of them might lead to exciting experiences. The second narration is about new context. We established a human science project course in our high school. This course had been developed with the aim of clarifying the issues raised in the school textbook. However, it was mainly considered as an extra-curricular subject. During my first year of teaching this course, I had difficulty persuaded the school principal about the significance of this course. And now, I teach this subject every week, and it's a class that their students don't want it to be disconnected. It's the example of pictures, photos that students take. Now I want to example the workshop that we have in this course. In this class, that semiology workshop that's named I See Well. I See Well is the topic of the workshop about media and advertisement. The students practice semiology through analyzing some well-known brands advertising, like advertisement of Apple, from Adidas. It's actually a practice of discovering the hidden meaning of advertisement within and going beyond the surface layer of image. Another workshop is consumerism workshop. It's called I Shop So I Am. It's not necessary to mention that consumerism is one of the main problems of our world, and I feel that it's really important for my students to know about it. In this workshop, it's the example of semiology. Oh, sorry. About the advertisement of BMW, Apple, Coca-Cola, the students talk about the sign that's watching their advertisement. And it's an advertisement of a brand of shampoo for Arabian countries. Another workshop is consumerism workshop. We went to one of the modern shopping centers in Tehran, and the students observed what they have been taught. We try to create a question in their mind: why do we consume like that? Only as a question, so that they may not imitate the manners of their parents. At the end, I hope these items can help us to see that one can learn much beyond books, tests, and measurements. Instead, we practice exploring what is really worth exploring. As Allah in the glorious Quran states, your God is the one who created death and life, that he may try which of you is best in it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Fatima. It's wonderful to have your experience of teaching.